Sometimes I wonder why I do what I do. This one big reason of finding why I do what I do, why I'm this obsessed with self-development, self-improvement. I think this one realization with the permission of God is going to be the change that's going to change everything in my life. Me finding out this one thing about myself that has been so deep in my subconscious mind, in my subconscious brain, has been so the reason it was just shoved under there. And this is the exact root cause for why I did what I did. This is the exact root cause for why I did so many bad habits, why I self sabotaged myself on bad habits, why I destroyed my life with bad habits. This is something that people don't see from the outside. Right? From the outside, they see this version of me that's always happy, that's always trying to make jokes and try to act like retarded and autistic, but they don't see that version of myself that's there at 4 a.m. Just did a bunch of bad habits, and you know exactly what those bad habits are. Played video games, and just staring at his bed, or not staring at his bed, he's lying on his bed and he's overstimulated. His brain literally can't take the load anymore and he's just there. He's looking for more things to do, but he can't find them. This is the reason why I found the reason why this happens. And I feel like if you find your reason, you're also going to figure out the root cause, the actual root cause of why you do what you do. And if you find this reason of why you do what you do, bro, you're like, that's it, you're good. Like, that's when you can get rid of your bad habits. That's when you can double down on your self improvement and go ballistic and go crazy. I don't know, you probably know Charlie Morgan, right? Charlie Morgan is a YouTuber, a business YouTuber. You know him, bro. I was watching Charlie Morgan last year, and there's just one of the videos he made where, like when you made that video of like where life is going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And he drew on his whiteboard like a representation of why life is going up and down, up and down, up and down. He talked about the inner child. He talked about how your inner child plays a big role in why you do what you do. And he talked about how he was bullied as a child. And he talked about how the stuff he did, the bad habits, the good habits, whatever, his inner child wanted to represent himself in that way. So you have to sort of build a relationship with your inner child. Again, this stuff when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is really valuable, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to do it. And he was saying, oh yeah, you gotta do some digging. You gotta do some digging on based off like your childhood, inner child. I'm like, I don't know how to do digging, bro. And he went to therapy and whatever, and they found some digging. But I think I finally found out my reason without going to therapy. I'm not saying you shouldn't or you should. I'm just saying I found mine now, and I think my process could help you. I was looking at some of the bad habits I was doing. Right, I was looking at watching stuff online. I was looking at playing video games for so many hours of the day. Right, I used to seek validation on Instagram, bro. I used to post myself on Instagram just so they can see me. I used to change my profile picture every few weeks. The people used to ask me like, "Why are you changing your profile pictures every few weeks? What's the reason? Why are you doing that?" I didn't know the reason until recently, which is, and I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, fine. I'll finally tell you the reason that I found out recently why I do what I do, which is the need to be seen, and specifically the need to be seen as someone important, as someone crucial, as someone significant. I never felt like that growing up, specifically in my social surroundings, my family surroundings. I was always that kid just kind of tagged along. And that put such a mental toll that I never realized why I do what I do. It was a need to be seen as someone important. It was a need to show others that I'm also like someone of value. And the first incident, I think this was a start of every single, like, this was a start. The first incident was when I was not living in Canada, when I was back in Bangladesh, right? And I'm from Bangladesh, if you didn't know. And when I was living there, an incident happened where I was playing outside. I was playing cricket because everyone plays cricket there, right? And I was playing cricket outside. So the kids there, it was like an apartment complex, and we're all playing cricket. And the kids, one of the leaders, I guess you can say, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're all gonna go inside. So let's." But then he didn't tell me. So when I came up to him, and I still remember this, I was like 6 years old. I still remember this. I went up to him and I said like, "Where are you guys going?" or something, right? And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we're going outside. You can come if you want." So like I was like, "Oh yeah, I would like to come. I mean, I didn't get an invite, but I guess he just told me if you want to come, you can come." So you could already see like I was sort of like left out, and I was like pretty close with them. I used to play outside. I thought I was close with them at least. And then so I went inside. They went inside. I followed them, right? And I went inside his house because they're gonna play some games or whatever. I didn't see anyone inside. I didn't see any of the kids. I didn't see anyone. I'm like, What's happened? Where's everyone? Did they just leave me? Did they go to different? Like, where did they go?" So I was there, I was looking around, nothing happened. Okay, so you know what? There's no one here. I'm just gonna go back outside, whatever. And I remember that incident because that was the same day that I almost got kidnapped. Because no one was inside, no one was there, no one was calling me or anything. I didn't see anyone. I just went back outside and went outside back. I was gonna go back home to my house, the apartment block next door, whatever. And then when I went outside, there was like three like oddly looking specific guys. And they were staring at me like, and they were following me around. I went to that side, they followed me there. I went to this side, they followed me there, and they were looking at me like they're about to kidnap me. I still remember their faces. And that was the day I almost got kidnapped. And then I screamed out to my mom's name, like mom, like I'm not a name, but like I screamed out to like my mother, like, mom, open the door, open the door. I don't know, it was all God that saved me, but those guys didn't end up doing anything except just follow me around and stare at me in a very specific way. You know how criminals stare at you. You know how like if someone were to get if someone were to get as an example, like you know how like they make that like weird like pedophile face, like they're making that face toward me. So I just called out to my mother and they opened the door and quickly blocked, and I told her I almost got, these people following me around. But okay, sure, that was one story is I almost got kidnapped, but the real story is where were those kids? Where were those people that I deemed as friends? Where were those people that I thought were my good friends that were playing? They were not there. They didn't even call my name. They didn't even care I was there. They didn't. That was the first thing, the first trauma that happened to me. I never realized this was trauma until literally today. I never realized that this impacted me so heavily because this sort of pattern would follow through when I eventually moved over to Canada and I had friends here. And again, these were great friends, but I feel like they weren't true friends. Like they kind of saw me as like the guy who tagged along. Like yeah, we went to places, we had a lot of good memories. They talked, but I feel like they talked to me differently, like how they talk to their own friends. They spoke to me differently than how they spoke to their own friends. They went to places without me, and I felt like I always felt like I was left out every single time. Again, this might be a me problem. Maybe I'm just not good at talking to people. Maybe I'm just autistic. I don't know. But this is again more trauma that I felt growing up. I was always seen as weak as well, like super feminine, super weak, incapable, just kind of a kid who just plays games in his room all day. So I was never seen as someone important, never praised for my qualities. So all of this stuff kind of resulted in me just self sabotaging myself. All of this stuff resulted in me playing hours and hours of this game, FIFA, specifically playing games where it's individual, playing games where you can shine. See, even the games I played followed the same pattern. I never used to play like story games or stuff like that. I used to play like competitive games where I can prove myself. I can prove to everyone watching me that I'm the best player in this game. I used to play like competitive FIFA in terms of like career mode, so I can put my name on the player and I can act as if this was me playing. And of course, I would try to be the best player. I would make up scenarios in my head and stories in my head of me being the best player in the world by myself, playing by myself. That's very strange for a young child to do that. All of this for need to be seen as important. All of this for need to be seen as someone capable. So this is the reason why I'm so obsessed with self improvement, with self development. This is the reason why I don't want to miss a single day of the gym. This is the reason why I would wake up at 5 a.m. or some today I woke up at 7 a.m. because I was a super low sleep. But this is the reason why I even think about waking up at 5 a.m. and doing morning cardio and eating clean and doing, because I just need to be I just this need to be seen as important. That one incident from those little kids I'll never forget in my life. I was 6 years old and I still somehow remember that. I feel like that was there given by God. God wanted me to go through that, which resulted in a pattern, and it resulted in blossoming into where I am now. Because again, the reason why I was doing my bad habits, the reason why I wasn't on self improvement, or the reason why, again, I was just overly self sabotaging myself. I was always extreme. There's a reason why, because I'll explain why. Because, again, the need to be seen as important, the need to be felt like you're there, to be seen as you exist. I just did it in the wrong way. You have to realize bad habits, you don't just do bad habits for a reason. You do bad habits as it's a representation of how you feel. A bad habit is just you feeling in some sort of way and you want to express your emotions in that way. Your emotions are going to be your emotions. It's how you express it. I don't know if you ever watched the show Naruto growing up. That's my favorite show. I don't watch shows, but if I had to watch a show like Naruto, I love it. I love Naruto so much. Naruto was raised, or when he was being brought up by himself, I guess he was alone. Everyone hated him. Everyone in the village hated him, saw him as a villain, saw him as a monster. He didn't know why. He was just a child with no parents, growing up by himself. The amount of pain that he went through. Everyone saw him as a villain, everyone saw him as that. Now, Naruto could have expressed those emotions like Obito did. I don't know if you in the Naruto show, there's another character called Obito, and Obito is like Naruto, but like from another clan. Like it's in terms of like he was older than Naruto, but they all acted the same and stuff like that. Like him and Naruto were like close in terms of their character, like Goofy and whatever, right? But Obito was the same person, except Obito expressed his emotions in a bad way. He became one of the biggest villains of the entire franchise. He decided to take over the entire world. And Naruto, despite going through the same thing, in fact, even more than Obito, he decided to be the hero. He decided to be the person who didn't want to take over the world, rather help those who are going through the same thing. It's how you express your emotions, bro. You can express it in a bad way or a good way, but it's emotions are emotions. So whatever pain you're feeling right now, if you're feeling like you're self sabotaging yourself every single day, despite being on self improvement, find out the reason why you do what you do and figure out a better representation of why you should be doing it. When I chose business, when I chose self development as a way of representing that one pain that my younger self had, this could stem into me becoming my best self, the most capable version of myself. So one day people can see me and they will never deny me. I'll be in their face. I'll be all over their Instagram feeds. I'll be all over where I'll be there and they'll see me and they'll regret why they did what, like they'll regret why not they didn't treat me the way I deserve to be treated as a human being. Of course, I was treated as a human being, but like as someone like important, someone there, someone one of you. This is why I really stuck with my favorite character was Obito in Naruto. Like this, he was my favorite character, right? Because I kind of felt like him. Again, I never knew the reasons for why I did what I did until recently. But when you figure it out, you gain a different level of appreciation for yourself. So the number one thing you gotta do right now, I recommend, figure out the deep reason why you do what you do, and figure out how are you expressing that in a bad way? How are you expressing that in a bad way, right? And figure out how you can express that in a better way. There's so many of us that are feeling the same thing, bro. Enough of these watching like 10K a month videos or these attention grabbing videos on YouTube that just want your views and that's it. I mean, again, YouTube it's a game, bro. I'm not gonna blame people for wanting views. It's how YouTube works, but it's enough. Now let's become as capable as possible. Let's prove every single person wrong. Let's not become average and mediocre and forgotten about because we never wanted to become that. Let's finally see ourselves as strong and capable before others can see us as strong and capable. Let's prove to ourselves how strong and capable we are and how we can trust ourselves before other people can trust us and other people can see us as that. Prove to yourself first because we went through all like these kinds of pains, we are supposed to be our best friend ourselves. Like we are supposed to be our own best friends. Many people will understand what you're going through, but I will. We can definitely both agree with this is always a need to be seen as important, as someone there, as a human being, just like your friend. You know, not like a side character, not like this, not like that. Again, this could have been something I had a big problem with growing up. Maybe I just didn't know how to speak to people, but that's how it felt. And I was a young innocent child. So yeah, this is why I do what I do, and it's why I'm so obsessed with self development, self improvement. And I'll make sure that I use this emotion that I have to push myself into boundaries that I never thought I could push. So other than that, I love you. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you later, bro.